Hello and welcome to episode 18 of the Championship Rounds podcast. I'm Andrew, joined by Dan and Taj. On a weekend of very, very good boxing, actually. There's a few good fights, two unification fights, another world title fight. Um, on a good time for UK fans on Saturday. Available for free, but we'll start on Friday in Texas. Katie Taylor fights Amanda Serrano for the 140 pounds title, undisputed title. Um, Dan, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, it is a good fight. The first fight is one of the best women's boxing fights of all time. And I know there was a lot of controversy. A lot of people thought Serrano won. I didn't. I thought Kate Taylor won, but it was a close fight that could have gone either way. And it's really not hard. Easy fight to predict.
With the weight. It's been years since they fought each other the first time. I swear Taylor hasn't fought that much since their first fight either.
I think the weight favors Kate Taylor because Amanda Serrano, she's more of a featherweight, like a super featherweight. But
And that might be pushing it.
Kate Taylor, she did just beat Chantel Cameron in the rematch, but she has faded a lot, a lot. And she is pretty old. And I know she hasn't had like loads of fights, but she had a lot of amateur fights as well.
Yeah.
I mean, like uh, like Serrano, she wanted 3 minute rounds, obviously, because Kate Taylor is she is like perfect for 2 minute rounds because she has such an amateur style. Like you know how they fight in amateurs, like get in, throw a combination, get out. That's exactly how she fights. She has such an amateur style. Whereas Serrano has more of a professional style, which really like sits down on the punches and actually tries to do damage. She's one of the few female fighters who actually punch and hurt people.
It's one of the only exciting women to watch fight because they can actually cause any type of damage and like fight like they want to hurt somebody. Very few do that.
Well, I picked Serrano to win the first fight. She didn't. Although she did land like the harder punches, and she had her right at the end of the fight. And you can see why she wants 3 minute rounds. They perfectly suit her.
Because she probably would have stopped Taylor if she was like she had those 3 minutes
Yeah, look, she would have stopped Heather Hardy with 3 minute rounds in the first round.
of their first fight. Probably
Yeah,
would have to deal with the second fight, which she had to retire because of it.
I just well, I'm picking Serrano.
I think
I
I
just
am too. She
I just
just
think she's
hasn't fallen off a cliff, like
yeah, I just think she's got more left
even
in
though
her at
she's
this
smaller.
stage.
Even though she's smaller, I think she
Yeah,
has.
it's probably gonna be another scoring nightmare because she's gonna throw more punches than Serrano, but Serrano's gonna land the cleaner punches. And
It's not like Serrano doesn't throw that much either. Like
yeah,
she also throws a good amount of punches.
yeah, it's because like you got like Kate Taylor like really fast, blistering combinations. Not much power in them, not much technique either, really. That you can't really see what lands and what not lands in like
Yeah,
actual
there's
time.
a lot versus not as much.
Yeah, and especially in
Is
2 minute rounds as well. It's so hard to score 2 minute rounds.
is the weight not an issue?
It's probably the biggest. It's like the
Because
biggest
like
question mark next to it.
looking at Serrano's box rec, she's a featherweight fighting at 140. Like, surely this is a bit of an issue.
She's kind of an interesting because she's been going up and down the weights like
And
all the
she's
time.
fought
I mean,
bantamweight and super flyweight.
yeah, well, she is a 7th division world champion.
It's brilliant. Yeah.
Well, I mean, her last fight was just over lightweight. I mean, obviously, her opponent was absolutely terrible, but I mean, the weight definitely favors Kay Taylor. But I think Amanda Serrano will be fine at the weight because she's used to going up and down all the time.
Was
She
it the
also
first
fought.
fight at that weight? No. Or
It was a lightweight.
oh, that was a lightweight.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows with that fight? There's been about the only good insight I can have with this fight is there's been a lot of money going on Serrano this sort of last week and a half. Like it was like the odds were close, but Serrano was like a slight underdog, and now that's flipped. Like Serrano's a 4-6 favorite, which is a decent sized favorite, sort of, to win this fight now. So the odds have done a massive flip. Like loads of money's going on Serrano. That's what I can really give here. So
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, I think since that fight, hold on, let me have a look actually. Yeah, since that fight, I mean, like overall, I think Serrano's beaten the better competition. But as a whole, but Kay Taylor has the better win, and that's an impressive win as well because how pretty dominant she lost that first Cameron fight.
Yeah.
do you think a stoppage is on the card, sir?
I think it's possible because she can punch, but with the 2-minute rounds, it's just such a short amount of time to get someone out of there. Because with someone like Kate Taylor, you're gonna have to break her down. I mean, she only really properly hurt her in the 10th round of that first fight. She was still able to survive. And did she hurt her as well in like the 5th round?
The 5th. It was the 4th or the 5th where she almost stopped her.
Yeah, and like, I mean, she's experienced. Well, I mean, she hasn't really been hurt too much, but I mean, she's been around a long time. Yes, I think she can. I don't think she will. She may get knocked down on the way, but I think she's just gonna win a close decision. That a lot of people probably gonna say Kay Taylor won. Like they said, Amanda Serrano won the first fight.
It should be good.
The first thing, if the first fight is anything to go, is gonna be a good fight again between two of the best female fighters ever.
Yeah. Also on this card, Mario Barrios defends his WBC welterweight title against Abel Ramos. Quite frankly, a dreadful defense. Abel Ramos has sort of turned into a bit of a journeyman the last couple of years. Like, pretty much every big fight he's been, he's lost. He beat Omar Figueroa, but that's about it, really. Like, he's sort of... He has sort of turned into a guy that the top guys, and even sort of the just below top guys, are beating. Like, I just really don't like this fight at all. I don't know about you two.
I'm not really excited about it. But
I mean, I don't mind it. Like, I mean, everyone else has been in some fun fights over the years.
It's not horrible, but it's just like whatever. Honestly.
You know, I've noticed that. I've noticed with Ramos, he gets like really generous on these scorecards with like these split decisions and majority decisions. But fights that probably shouldn't be, because
Like-
I mean
Ugas and Crowley.
like he lost those fights. I mean, there's not a case for
He hurt Crowley.
him
but he
winning
lost
6
it.
or 7. Yeah, because he seems
He's
to like.
been crowded for most of
Yeah.
it.
I mean, he seems to start well in these fights, but then just finish not great.
Well, you see, he finished somewhat good against Crowley, but he just was overcrowded for most of the fight. He clearly lost. I don't know what judge gave it a draw, but yeah, no, it wasn't close.
It was a good fight.
It was in the list.
It was in the list.
Like when, like if you're saying like Mario Barrios is going to kick on this year, there was talk of the Pacquiao fight, which I didn't like, but like there was talk of a Stanionis fight. There's like other relevant guys at welterweight, even like a Cody Crowley fight would have been better than this. And then it's just like his 2024 is Fabian Maidana and Abel Ramos. Like it's just a bit of a, you know, it's
He
really not a
he
good
wasn't
year.
good against Maidana either.
Yeah, he got his eyes closed against Maidana and stuff. Like, honestly, like I picked him to stop Maidana, then he puts him down in the 3rd round. He's dominating the fight early on, and then it just turned into a really sort of scrappy, sort of nothingness fight that he loses a few rounds of late on. Like, it was really, really not a good performance. That, like, for me, I don't know about you two, but like, I thought like you just put him down early on, like, and then it just turns into really like it's just really scrappy, and your eyes shuts up, and like it's just not a good fight to watch. And like I sort of see that happening here. Like I think Barrios will sort of have a good start, and then it will just turn into a really dreadful fight to watch. And Barrios will win sort of an 8-4, 9-3. To be honest, like I don't like this fight at all.
Yeah, probably something like that. I mean, it could end up being good. To be honest, it has potential to be a good fight. But I mean, I had like highish hopes for Barrios at welterweight after he beat Ugas, but he didn't look very good against Maidana. Like I'm gonna see how he looks in this fight, but my expectations are going down.
He really, really like battered Ugas as well.
Yeah, I mean, he looked really good in that fight, and he should have got a stoppage in that fight because someone
Yeah.
should have stopped it. I mean, realistically, he should have stopped it himself. All he had to do was just put a big combination together, and the ref jumps in. But his corner should have pulled him out, or the ref should have just jumped in.
Chris Mannix special.
Yeah,
like he was done.
because he looked
Like,
really
turned
good in
into
that
like
fight.
a really bad beating.
I mean, he didn't need to do those last 3 rounds at all.
Yeah.
And like I mean, not everyone can be perfect in every fight, so I'm just gonna judge him again. If it's 2 times in a row, then maybe he's not gonna be as good as I thought he would. Because I mean, what? I mean, Abel Ramos, he's only been stopped once, hasn't he? Can't even remember who stopped him. It was Progress, wasn't it? It was Progress, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a corner retirement as well. So I think a stoppage might be off the cards here. He seems to take a good punch.
It's
And
about how you win though. Like
yeah, because
if you sort of go through the gears and like he's got a really good chin, but you're sort of dominating and you're going through the gears and trying to stop him, like that's a bit different to just sitting in first gear and stinking it out. Like
yeah, because he can have a good performance going the distance, like he did against Ugas.
Yeah.
And that would be perfectly fine. But if it's another Maidana, then that would not be fine.
I just hope they make the Stanionis fight next year. Like it looks like Ennis is moving up. Stanionis against Barrios would be 1 versus 2, and like they're both with PBC. I know this isn't on a PBC show, but like they both are. And if they can do that fight, that'd be really good. I think. Like that's the fight to sort of aim at long term. Stanionis has got to deal with what's his name? mandatory, the Matchroom fighter from Uzbekistan. Gearsov. He's got to do a Gearsov, that's it. But let's see. I think that's the obvious fight to make early next year. Sort of March on the tank card, if you can get that like quick turnaround, or sort of May. Kinamelo's bound to fight on a PBC show in May, so just do that fight on there.
Yeah, I mean that would be a good fight. I mean, he loses to Stanionis. Even if he looks great in this fight, he loses to Stanionis.
Yeah, Stanionis is a really, really good fighter, I think. Really underrated. That jab is brilliant.
Yeah, he has one of the best jabs in the sport. Like, it's insane and it's powerful. Like, it's one thing having a good jab, but when you have a good jab that's powerful as well, that is really hard to deal with.
But yeah, also on this card, Bruce Carrington is in an 8-rounder against Dana Coolwell. Bit of a sort of, I guess, a fight that Carrington should be. It's a showcase fight, really. Like, Carrington really should be dealing with this sort of opponent like pretty easily if you're talking about him in sort of world title fights next year. Obviously it's on Netflix, a big platform. It's a showcase for him. He should be dealing with him pretty easily. And like a big knockout here sort of makes a lot of people forget about the Sagawa fight.
Not me.
Look,
Well, yeah.
I mean,
not me.
Look, he's on the prelims. He's not even on Netflix, so
he's on,
which makes it work. He's on. I don't know where they're showing the prelims. Probably YouTube, but he's on the prelims.
YouTube and Netflix, I believe.
Yeah, so what happens? You go from co-main of the in your own city and performing like that to the prelims of a Jake Paul.
Yeah, but
well,
like it's that this is probably gonna get more views than that. But like it's a big card. Like I understand why it's happening. Like it's a way to build him up. Like it is what it is. It's not a good fight, but it's a way to build him.
I hope he shows out because the way he's talked about in the corny in a way talks like every other fighter around that weight. He needs to separate himself because he hasn't looked like exceptional like most people claim him to be.
well, just in his last fight, I mean, he's looked great outside of his last fight, and that's fair enough. I mean, Segawa is a tricky opponent. He's a southpaw. And he's really big. And well, this fight should be a 10-rounder. I don't know why it's not. It should be. And well, I mean, we've seen a Coolwell fight. He's been in the list a couple times, hasn't he?
Cool. I think he's been in once.
Wasn't he in twice?
I have no idea. It's been 5 years.
He had the end of fight, didn't he? Wasn't he in against Jake Wiley as well? But probably not.
Sure.
Like he can like move and box on the back foot, but his defense is not very good. I mean, he got hurt by Ender Lucas like a couple times.
I just I'm not sure what to pick because it's less rounds, so maybe he'll be more inclined to do something. But his last performance was like honestly horrible. So I want to think it's the opponent.
It's a massive step down. Like it is a massive step down. Like that's the thing. Like Carrington, as much as he sort of, I thought he just lost that fight. Like Segawa was a good fighter. Coolwell was like not that good. Like it's a huge step down. I think it's set up for a Carrington knockout, and I think that will probably happen. It should happen anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, he will. He will. I mean, he should stop Dana Coolwell. I mean, let's be honest. He is levels above Dana Coolwell. And if he doesn't stop it, if he doesn't stop him, conversations need to be had. I don't care if it's only 8 rounds.
I honestly think there should already be a conversation to be had, but I'll lay off. I think hopefully he looks good.
Just one performance is fine. Something he's never dealt with before, that's fine. See how he comes back from it.
I hope he looks good.
I mean, he will, because I think he's just so much better.
He's levels above. Like, as you say, like, he is like a poor performance at sort of fringe world level doesn't mean that you're going to be losing to this type of guy or not like dealing with them really easily. Like, yeah, it should be an easy night. There's a couple of other relevant names on that card. Lucas Baddy, who knocked out Ashton Silva. He's in a fight against Armando Casamonica.
They changed his opponent.
Two unbeaten, did they?
It was Corey Marksman.
Oh, was it? I didn't know that. Yeah, he's in a unbeaten Italian kid. Who's fought no one, but he is the Italian champion for whatever that's worth. And Niraj Goyat is fighting a YouTuber. Goyat has fought a couple of notable people, lost to Jose Zepeda, and actually has a win over Kanzu. One of Kanzu's first defeat in 2014, which is sort of a weird turn of events. A very, very weird turn of events that he's now fighting a YouTuber. But yeah. But that's on Friday on Netflix. Saturday, like I said earlier, in Saudi Arabia, it's Latino night. This event is being streamed worldwide for free on YouTube on Golden Boy's channel. You can get it for free under the Zone app. Like, you don't have to subscribe, pay any money. Just like log on to the Zone and it's on there for free. And it's probably for free everywhere else as well. Like, just you can find this event anywhere. Like, it's on Golden Boy's YouTube. It will be under Zone's YouTube, which is a good thing. Like, this event being free, it is a good thing. Heading up the card, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez and Chris Billam-Smith unified the WBA and WBO cruiserweight titles in a fight that I think is really intriguing. I really, really like this fight. I think it's a clash of styles, and one has some obvious flaws, and the other is very, very untested.
Yeah. No, it's a good one. It's very damn good.
How do you sort of see this fight playing out? Because I've been thinking about this quite a lot over the last couple of like weeks and months. Like, it's a fight that I've been playing out in my head, and I keep sort of landing on one outcome. But I'm just interested to see how you two see it.
What's your outcome first?
I think Chris Billam-Smith is going to be way too big and way too strong. He's going to pounce on Zurdo early, and he's going to maul him, punch him to body and head, sort of put the elbows and forearms in, sort of put the head in loads, and just be way too physically strong and way too big for Zurdo. And I just think Billam-Smith's going to win a very, very wide decision. There's sort of like the Reactpor fight, where it's a bit closer on the cards, but like is really wide. In reality, like, I just think Billam-Smith's too big and too strong. Like, Billam-Smith is not good, but he's very, very effective. And he's got an exceptional coach in McGuigan that understands exactly what Billam-Smith is as a fighter. And if you're not exceptional, I don't think Zurdo's exceptional. I think he's better technically than Billam-Smith by far. But I don't think he's exceptional, and I think fighters need to be exceptionally technically better than Billam-Smith to beat him, or on sort of a par physically. And I don't think Zurdo's either of those. He's better than Billam-Smith, yeah, but he's not an exceptional technical fighter. And Billam-Smith's strength and size, just everything about him, and I think what you're going back to a corner that's led by Malik Scott, like that's never going to go well. Like I just see Billam-Smith winning the decision here. Like,
How long can you
too big, too strong, man.
how long can you realistically just tough out these wins at this level? Because I mean that's kind of what he's doing. Because I mean he's not that good skillfully, and like let's say he can't get much going because I mean Zurdo at this weight, like he's gonna box like that. He's got a southpaw. I mean he's got good jab. He can move. He's so much faster. I mean obviously he's going to be smaller, and like obviously Billam-Smith's going to be a lot stronger, and we know how Billam-Smith fights. I mean he makes fights rough because it's all he can do. But like let's say that jab is just in his face all the time. What's he going to be able to do against that?
Walk right into it.
Yeah, it's just going to be bang, just bang, 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 bang. Like if I'm Zurdo, I'm just sticking that jab out every second, just bang, popping it out.
That worked against Guillemarian because Guillemarian was so much slower than Billam-Smith, so much more static. Inactivity played a big factor in that, in my opinion. Like that theoretically could happen, but I can't. Maybe for a few rounds early on, but like man, I just can't see it all fight.
Because like I think Zurdo, let's say he loses the fight. I think he's gonna be like really good in the first half.
Yeah.
And then like Zurdo, I mean Billam-Smith could take over in the second half because he finishes fights really strong. But I mean all these cruiserweights, they're just so limited offensively and they are not good at all defensively. I mean, is there really much difference in defense between Chris Billam-Smith and us and Guillemarian? I mean, Billam-Smith's defense might even be worse. And if we're talking like a technical like stuff, I mean, Guillemarian is better than him. But I mean, he's not inactive like Guillemarian was.
And he's not as physical as Guillemarian.
Yeah, I mean, like Billam-Smith will sell out no matter how bad he's doing, how far he's down. I mean, Guillemarian didn't do that. Like he will try, but I mean, I'm just a skill guy. Skills pay the bills. Don't care about size and strength, unless I think the skill level is close enough where that could be a factor, and I don't think it is.
I also
like he's shown me. I mean, I know it's against Guillemarian. He's shown me that he's like can do something in this weight because he looks really good against Guillemarian, and he put a good performance in for 12 rounds. Like, and he used his skill to do it as well. Didn't need size or strength, just used his speed and his skill and boxed perfectly.
And even when he did get hit, he was able to take a cruiserweight punch.
Because I mean, he's always had a good chin. I mean, he's always been able to take a good punch.
I don't think he's ever been down. Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously he's Obviously, he's lost to the best fighter he's fought in Bivol, but I mean, he's so big. I mean, cruiserweight could be his best weight. Like, how did he make 168? I have no idea. And like
Should be able to do that.
he took Joe Smith Jr.'s punches. I mean, I know it wasn't a cruiserweight really. It was like the old cruiserweight limit, and he's not really a cruiserweight, but he's a light heavyweight. But he punches really hard.
They just bounce off him.
I think a key shot for Billam-Smith's the left hook. Looking at Zurdo, I think he's very, very open to the left hook, and if Billam-Smith can get that going, I just think that's the key shot, man. It's getting inside. I just see him mauling, man. Like, I just can't see how Ramirez can keep Billam-Smith off him. It's just the physicality difference here is just so big. Like, so big.
But maybe it's not. Maybe he just hasn't needed to show it. He didn't need to show anything really against Guillermo. He didn't do anything. Maybe he surprised you. Maybe he's one of those guys that are like physically stronger than they look or that you'd expect. And if that's the case, Billam-Smith is in trouble.
If that's the case, Billam-Smith's done. But I don't believe it is.
He's in trouble. Look,
I really don't believe that's the case.
He's just gonna have to hope that Zurdo doesn't use a jab.
He has got Malik Scott as a trainer, though.
Didn't he have him as a trainer in the Guillermo fight? I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't know.
But to be honest, I mean, I'm sure it didn't really work with Wilder, but I mean, Malik Scott, his style is a boxer, and that's exactly the type of style that Zurdo needs to beat these cruiserweights who are bigger than him and punch harder than him. Might not be the worst trainer to have in this situation, because what he wants him to do, he will do. Because he's going to be telling him, box, don't get into a fight with this guy. And that's what he needs to do, and that's what Zurdo wants to do.
It's just the size and strength, man. I can't get it out of my head. I really just can't get this stuff. Like the way he did React Poor, like the way he did the Coley, just make it horrible. And like these guys are so much bigger and so much stronger than Zurdo. Like,
yeah, but they're not more skilled. I mean, they don't have the footwork, or the jab, or the fast hands, or the fast feet. Like, look, React Poor. I mean, he was on his last leg in that rematch.
React
to be
Poor was
honest,
terrible.
He was just drained. That's why he's going up. That's why he's going to move up to heavyweight. He's so drained in that.
It's like he's been fighting like mirror images of himself, like not in style, because obviously a Coley fights nowhere like anybody in this division, but like big, strong, like physically imposing like people. Where Zurdo doesn't need to do that. He's just a really good boxer who doesn't need to fight like that. He doesn't have to match anything that Chris does.
I think Chris will throw a lot more as well, and will be on the front foot. Like, it's just one of these things. Like, it's a trend over recent times. This is sort of a little bit off topic, but the guys that are on the front foot, even if they're not winning, seem to be getting a lot of credit with the judges recently. Like, across the board, across the country, like across the different commissions. Like, you saw it with Saigo Yuri Kui against Delakian. You saw it with William Davis against Shabazz Massoud. Nick Ball against Ray Ford. The guys on the front foot that are throwing more tend to be getting a lot more credit. And I think that could play a factor, like, if it's close. Like, I can see Billam-Smith getting a bit more credit because he will be on the front foot. He will be sort of, like, pushing Zurdo about, he will be throwing more punches. I think that's something you need to consider as well. Like, even if, like, some of those fights I did score to the guy on the back foot, like, the guy on the front foot was getting a lot more credit.
Yeah, that definitely does happen. I mean, we also saw it with Batavia as well, didn't we?
Batavia Bivol, yeah. That's another one.
But I mean, with these guys that were on the front foot, I mean, like Nick Ball, he landed lots of punches against Raymond Ford, probably a lot more than Chris Billam-Smith's going to land against Zurdo. And yeah, they did give Leon Davis way too much credit for being on the front foot. But I mean, he was the A side. Makes sense. Talking about like title shots next.
I don't know, man. Just seems sort of how it's going right now. I really do like this fight though. Like, I just keep landing on Billam-Smith, but like it's just that size. I keep repeating myself, but the size and strength matters in this game, man. There's weight classes for a reason, and I do think Zurdo being drained at 175 is a little bit overdone, if I'm being honest. Like,
yeah, but look how much he was rehydrating. I mean, he was rehydrating like 25 pounds at light heavyweight. I mean, that's crazy. Like, he was, well, I guess it's a bridgerweight now, but he's small heavyweight, technically. Like, rehydrating that much, that's just ridiculous.
well, 25 pounds is cruiserweight though. That's sort of the point. Like, he was rehydrating to the cruiserweight limit. It's another discussion, but this jump from light heavyweight to cruiserweight is ridiculous. Like, it is absolutely ridiculous, this jump. But man, I really do like this fight though. I really really like it. It's so intriguing to me.
I mean, it's well. I mean, Unification, they're always good fights, aren't they? They're usually against like some of the top guys.
Unless your name's Vincenzo Galtieri.
Yeah, I mean, you get some of them where like there's a champion that's not like ranked pretty high, like Valenzuela, who's not ranked that high at 140, or Galtieri back in the day. But I mean, these two, like these are two of the best cruiserweights in the division.
They're probably the 2 and 3. Whatever way you want to have them, they're probably the 2 and 3. Like, Opatai is the best, like, on resume. But these two are number 2 and 3 for me.
Yeah, I mean, you know it's good because like there's so many different outcomes you can see.
I can't see Zurdo stopping.
I mean, I can't see Zurdo stopping him either, but like it's just like really hard fight to predict at least.
Yeah.
Which I'm picking Zurdo. You are not. Let's see if this trend carries on where you're right. I think this is where it's going to end, but who knows?
Well, to be fair, of course you do because you're picking him. So
exactly.
I honestly don't know. Like, I think I'm like 51-49 to Zurdo. But I'm not sure, really.
you know, it's kind of crazy that Billam-Smith, this run he's been on, was a huge underdog against the Kohli. Odds-wise. The Masternak fight was pretty much 50-50 odds-wise. Billam-Smith was a slight favourite. He was quite a big underdog against Reactor. and now he's quite a big underdog against Zurdo. Like, he's been taking like tough fights, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
look, I mean, people have been estimating him in his whole career. To be honest, I think he thrives of being the underdog, just being underestimated.
yeah,
I think he loves it. Just
yeah,
continue to underestimate him, and he'll continue to beat these guys that you think are going to beat him. That's perfectly fine.
yeah. I don't know if this is the Chiefs. Yeah, it probably isn't the Chief support, but in my eyes, it's the next best fight on the card. Oscar Collazo faces off against Knockout CP Freshmart for the vacant Ring magazine and the WBA and WBO minimum weight titles. This is a fantastic fight. It really is a fantastic fight for me. Collazo has been the more active of the two, and is probably a rightful favourite at this stage. But Freshmart, man, that power can it can change the fight. It can change this fight, I think.
I mean, we're talking about like Zurdo and Billam-Smith being a good fight because it's two of the top. I mean, these are the top two. Like at 105, it doesn't get better than this. And I mean, it's really funny that like his power is the question because I mean, he was thought of like as like Bevo always going the distance, like you Devo. It's so funny. But I mean, he does punch. He can punch. You can see that, and he's really good. He's a really good fighter. I've always liked Knockout CP Freshman. And
So,
obviously, I mean, we know how good.
activity.
Yeah, he's just inactive. We know how good Collazo is.
I think Collazo is a bit drained, where Freshmart is like he's just naturally that small.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I mean, he just has to be he's just comfortable at 105. There's gonna be a really good fight. It's gonna be tough for both fighters.
There's one outcome that I can't see at all here, and that's a Freshmart points victory. I can't see him winning on points.
Oh, I could see him winning on points. Just whether he gets the decision is the question. I can see him like deserving to win the fight, but not necessarily getting. I can see any like in the Zurdo Billam-Smith, we couldn't see like a Zurdo stoppage. It seemed unlikely. I can see any outcome in this fight.
The only thing with Freshmart is the way he was. Maybe it was just getting the ring rust off, but against Winwood, like the way he just let rounds go when he should be winning the rounds. Like there was a period in that fight where Winwood, like you're screaming for the corners to step in. Like the 7th round, Winwood was done. He loses the 8th round badly. He loses the 9th round and gets put down in the 9th round and is nearly out. And you're screaming like someone's got to stop this. And then Winwood wins the 10th because Freshmart just doesn't throw anything because he's gassed out. And like it's that sort of thing with me. Like there's moments in that Winwood fight where he's just not throwing. Like every time he does throw, he lands and his accuracy's there, but he's just not throwing. And he can't throw enough. That's the worry with me. Like maybe it was ring rust, but to not even do that after you've got him really badly hurt was a big red flag for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to read too much into that because obviously he hadn't fought in 2 years. I mean, I've never really seen that with him before in his other fights, but I mean, he's pretty old these
Yeah, he's
days.
34 now. 34.
Yeah.
Like that, it's just a little bit of a worry for me.
I mean, I think in these type of fights, any small maybe advantage that someone can take from something, like it has to be a factor. So if this is the case, if it's a problem for him, this is a factor. like I don't know, something that he can take from Collazo. You know, when he like was losing the first 3 rounds against
Jerusalem.
to Jerusalem, like really bad. Like he can take some stuff from that.
Yep.
But I mean, Collazo did come back and dominate, and then stop him.
Yeah.
But I mean,
He was pummeling that body through like 6 and 7 rounds. Like the 6th and the 7th were bad rounds for Jerusalem.
yeah. But you know, knockout CP Freshmart. I mean, he's better than Jerusalem. Not that Jerusalem's a good fighter, but knockout CP Freshmart is better.
I think what Taj said is a very good point. I think Collazo is a little bit drained. Like he's been talking about moving up for a little while, and like if you're getting that badly hurt off Gerardo's Zepeda, you can't really punch.
He was like
He
maybe
was almost gone.
he almost got finished.
Yeah.
Like he was more hurt than he ever was. Like in the Saludar fight, Jerusalem fight, it was just he was all over the place.
And Zepeda hadn't had a stoppage since 2018. And that was at 6 round level, like, and he was gone, like he was all over the place in that second or third round. Was it second round?
I think it was the second round.
Yeah.
That's why I think a Freshmart decision is possible. But I do actually believe it's more likely that Freshmart could stop him because how vulnerable that Collazo gets defensively sometimes.
Yeah.
Just getting like
I'll
too excited with his word.
I'll probably rephrase what I said. A Freshmart decision is possible, but I think he'd have to put Collazo down to do it. Sort of like the Winwood fight. If that makes any sense. Like I can see it, like he's down a couple of times and like he sneaks a close decision where he like it's maybe 6-6, 7-5 Collazo, but he's been down a few times and that wins Freshmart the fight. Sort of thing. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because like with the possibility of Collazo getting stopped, I mean, like he's not the best defensively, and knockout CB Freshmart has just incredible timing with his power punches. Like if he's getting caught clean with one of those,
That's the
I
thing,
mean,
like
yeah. But will knockout CB Freshmart like jump on him like you were saying earlier, where he kind of let Winwood off the hook and didn't really step on it? Will he be able to jump on it, or will he? That's why stoppage may be like the least likely outcome in the whole fight. A knockout CB Freshmart stoppage, just because he won't jump on him.
that's one thing though, like Collazo did recover very, very well against Zepeda.
You know, he turned it around right after that. Zapata just didn't fight anywhere near as good as that one moment. The entire fight after that, but he probably won like one round after him doing that.
Yeah.
But he can be hurt like pretty damn bad, as you can see.
It's a really good fight. Like it's these two fights are really, really good. Like I really, really like these two fights. Topping this card, like, and the division needs it as well. Like 105 has been sort of people are playing.
Undervalued.
It's undervalued for sure, yeah, because there's been some really fun fights, but like the belts these last few years just been going everywhere. Like
Well, they
the
were going
IBFs,
nowhere for a while.
yeah.
They were all up and
WBCs had
down.
like
3.
what
They Pradas Breathe and
Shigioka, then
Shigioka.
Jerusalem, all in their first defenses as well. like, or Udai's first defense. The IBF's been going everywhere. Valadares, Shigeoka, Tadaran again.
Yeah.
You know, all over the place. WBA had like 2 years of inactivity. WBO, who did Jerusalem beat? Oh, I should know that. Taniguchi. Yeah, Taniguchi. Like Taniguchi, then Jerusalem straight away. Then Jerusalem goes and wins a belt. Like, it's just been. You need these sorts of fights to just like say, yeah, this is the number one. Come and get him, sort of thing. But the only issue here is, the issue here, if not Jerusalem, Jesus Christ, if Collazo wins, I can really just see him seeing, like, I can be mandatory for Iwata if I want to. I can go up and probably get a shot against Eric Rosa. Like,
he's gonna do the same thing Prodigy did.
Yeah.
Get a top ranking in the next division. He doesn't really.
Yeah.
If he wins or loses, if he wants to move up, he can perform there.
But if you look at like where the money is for him, like, there's no money in a Pedro Tadaran fight or a Jerusalem fight again, really. And if you're looking at, like, Eric Rosa, that's quite a big fight. Iwata in Japan, that's quite a big fight. Like,
well,
there's
fight,
good fights for Collazo.
After this fight, he won't have any reason to stay here because he's drained, and then all the other champions are worse than Freshmart. So there's no.
And he's already beaten one of them. Like,
yeah, he's already beat one and stopped him, like, convincing.
Yeah.
So there's really no point. So win or lose, if he gets through, good. If he doesn't, then it's fine. He lost to one of the longest reigning champions for the past like 10 years almost. So
he is the longest reigning 105 champion ever, I believe. Freshmart.
Lopez not hold it, or maybe he just had a lot of defenses and just a shorter
Yeah, I think Finito had loads of defenses, but
yeah, he like 20, no, not 20, like
Finito Lopez. Let me just check this.
I have it down in my phone somewhere.
I mean, he definitely held the belt for a long time. I mean, I think he had it for like 8 years, and then he moved up to.
He had it from 90 to.
He had 22 defenses.
90 to 98. And yeah, Freshmart's just overtaken him.
Because it's been since 2015.
Yeah.
He doesn't have
Freshmart's just overtaken him.
Yeah, he doesn't have as many defenses. He has 12, I think.
Yeah,
still
but
a lot in this era, where he doesn't just have any like random opponent to fight. He's actually like fighting contenders the whole time.
Yeah, it's what it is. But yeah, that's a great fight. Like, I really do like this card. I really do like it. It's got to be said. This is a very, very good card, especially for free, man.
Look, imagine what this win. Like, I mean, look, knockout TB Freshmart's already one of the greatest minimum weight fighters ever. Imagine a win against Oscar Collazo. I mean, look, no one's ever going to overtake Ricardo Lopez, but could put him really high up in the division's history.
Yeah. And then, like, if he does that, like, Pedro Tadaran, like, who's he gonna fight? He's fighting the Chinese kid, isn't he? Or that got postponed though.
Yeah.
He's meant to fight the Chinese kid. What's his name?
Sean.
Yeah. That got postponed though. That was meant to be this month, but that got postponed. Melvin Jerusalem's fighting in sort of high school basketball courts. Like, there's no reason why these unifications can't be made after that. Like, I know Jerusalem's got an option with the Kamedas. He'll probably have to fight Udai again. But like the Kamedas will bring Freshmart over for a Udai unification, definitely. Like there's fights here for him if he wins this.
Because I mean, it's interesting because it's like 105, and you think, oh, these are like the only fights they're going to get paid a good amount of money to make. But there hasn't been that many unifications at 105, and I don't know why.
Like it took for Muntari to lose twice for the Freshmart fights that happened. Like it's just,
Yeah, why? They were champion at the same time for 4 years, and they didn't fight each other.
This is only the fourth unification in minimum weight history, after Lopez Sanchez in '97, Yoka Yaigashi in 2012, and Chiwa Takayama in 2014. It's over 10 years.
That last fight is
Last
the
two
number
fights.
one. Well, the last fight is the best fight of the minimum weight in the 2010s, according to my list.
Ever.
Well, yeah, ever, definitely ever. Which, I mean, that's really saying something because I actually Paul Vermook is an insane fight as well, and that's also in the same division. Decade.
But yeah, it's nice to actually have some like something we don't have to like look back on. Like we get to look forward to some minimum weight history, like for like a relatively new division, like newer division that's only been a division for like 35-ish years. Um, I'm glad it's between these two because it's gonna be a pretty damn good fight.
that is. Next up on this card, Jose Ramirez faces Arnold Barboza, with the winner likely getting a world title shot at someone next with the WBO, even though there's certain things with the WBO that are kicking off. But I'm going to be frank, Barboza lost his last fight to Sean McCone. I've seen two people score that fight for Barboza, and they were two judges. Like he lost very, very clearly. He won maybe 2 rounds of that fight. And I just think this is set up for Ramirez just to sort of.
It's funny because Ramirez doesn't even look that good, like since losing his titles either. But he's just been better. Like
He's also
against
fought a
better
high level of
against I
competition.
was with
Yeah,
better opponents too. It's like he did
yeah.
go life or death with Kome, but he still ended up stopping him. And then the Bartholomew fight,
Bartholomew
he,
fight.
he did get hurt multiple times, but he won like 9 rounds. Like he won like every round. He didn't get hurt.
Like if you look at his last 3 opponents, they're all world champions. Like all the 3 wins since Taylor.
Yeah,
Pedraza,
look.
Commie, Bartholomew. Like,
Yeah, and they're all better than Barboza.
yep.
Even at this stage, Barboza's not good. He's just not good, and I'm not surprised he's made this a 10-round fight.
I don't think it mattered if it was 10 or 12. I think he's gonna lose Barboza.
Look,
Like a convincing decision.
Ramirez should beat him up. I mean, he's so much better. I mean, it doesn't matter that Ramirez's defense is not good. I mean, his offense, he's like great. Well, not great, maybe not great, but he's just really good offensively.
Body work is pretty damn.
And Barboza can't punch anyway. So, like, what's he going to do?
I mean, what he does is he boxes. I mean, he's not even really good at what he does. What can he do? Yeah, he just has to hope that Ramirez is absolutely washed.
This is a little bit awkward because I've had conversations with McComb in the past and I've, like, semi-know him. But Sean McComb was forced to quit by Gavin Gwynn. and he comprehensively outboxed Barboza.
Yeah, let me
Like,
make this easier for you. Look, Sean McComb is not that good, and he clearly beat Barboza. I mean, you don't have to say it because you know him,
Yeah.
but I will. He's not that good at like this top sort of level. I mean, like he's obviously he's good because he's reached some sort of level in boxing, and
He's
he
a
beat Barboza.
European level fighter.
Yeah, like
Probably fringe European level. Because he
yeah,
wouldn't beat Adam Azim. I'm gonna be honest.
he wouldn't be Jose Ramirez. He'd get dominated by Jose Ramirez. Maybe not dominated because he can box, but like he'd lose to Jose Ramirez.
But yeah.
I'm going to be
good.
disappointed in Ramirez if he doesn't absolutely dominate Barboza. I mean, maybe not stop him. I think he's going to win a decision. But
there shouldn't be any discussion about like scorecards or anything.
It's one of those like if Barboza makes it, like if Barboza's very negative and has a very good chin and spoils a bit, like he might make it to the cards, but he should get stopped really. Ramirez can punch, like he's very aggressive, he throws a lot of punches, like he should just overwhelm Barboza.
So we're all gonna pick Ramirez by UD.
I'm gonna pick a stoppage.
well, he's not. He's picking
Okay.
stoppage. I'm going to pick him by decision. But if this was about, like, I was thinking about a stoppage, but no, then it got changed to 10 rounds. And I
This
was
is
like,
also a
okay.
2024 version of Ramirez.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, this is
still,
like this is like pre-COVID.
because I mean,
Ramirez.
he can still punch, but does he have like in him just to really up the gears? Like, you know how quickly he stopped a hooker, like in a split second he was done. Can he do that now?
I don't think he could do that.
Like he could, but it's less likely. And I mean, with Barboza's style, like he is really negative, and that can help you like survive and not get hurt and not get stopped.
I don't know. I just think I just think Barboza, it's the way he just can't punch is an issue. There's nothing to stop Ramirez just like sort of tumbling forward and like getting all over him. Like there's nothing to deter him. There's nothing that like it's just yeah, like you say, a wide decision or a stoppage. But I'll edge stoppage. But yeah, decision could happen.
Yeah. However, Ramirez wins, he's going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, pre-no contest. Thanks.
Another the next fight on this card. Oh god, the worst fight on this card by some distance. William Zepeda is fighting Tevin Farmer over 10 rounds for the WBC interim lightweight title.
I would say don't let the Murataya fight make it seem like this is going to be competitive because it's not. It's just not. Zepeda is like the best non-champion in this weight class. He might be like better than like Barenchik, so he would be better than a champion. Zepeda should run Farmer, like should run him over.
It's just the fact that he turned down Stevenson for this.
You know, he's pissed me off with that too. But this opponent is woeful. This is like almost like a downgrade to Cabrera, because at least Cabrera like showed something.
Tevin Farmer is not better than Maxi Hughes at this stage. Like, the very best, it's the same level as a Maxi Hughes. Like, if you look at the run Hughes was on, should have been a very, very long winged streak. Karol, Kotochkov. I used to be able to say that name, but yeah. Paul Hyland, Strathon, Ryan Walsh, Kid Galahad, getting robbed by Cambozos. And then you look at what Farmer's done, a competitive decision loss to Murataya, who's not that good anyway. Like, yeah, man, like, he's going to get run over. He's probably going to quit to a body shot or just get pulled out. Which, every Zepeda opponent does, seemingly. Apart from Jojo Diaz at this stage.
He took a beating.
Yeah.
Everybody else, he's just like really just tore their body.
Alvarado
You'd have like a slow first like 1.5 rounds, and then he's already figured it out just to cut the ring off and batter the body. He's gonna do the same to Farmer. Like Farmer was like a good, like one of those good, like good to watch fighters, like right before COVID, but he's just not the same fighter. It seemed like he like kind of like retired for a while.
He did.
And then he
even
came
still,
back with still nondescript. Like,
Well, I mean, he still has like decent defense.
he'll always have that.
He's still crafty, so like maybe it takes Zepeda a little bit of time to get used to that and figure that out. But I mean, he really should be stopping him.
This shouldn't touch the second half of the fight, to be honest.
Like maybe it could, just because I mean it's hard to hit a guy with good defense because you don't really come across it too often, and they won't have come across it. I mean, who's he going to be able to spar with that can mimic Tevin Farmer's defense? Trying to figure that out, especially when Tevin Farmer can see in every single direction at once.
That's out of order, man.
Look, facts are facts.
He's just gonna get stopped to the body, man. That's it.
Yeah, I mean that's really like what you should do. Just don't bother trying to hit him to the head. Hit him to the body, and then like when his hands come down or he's really tired, and just switch your attack upstairs. You're against a fighter who has good defense. Target the body. The body doesn't move.
His head and his eyeballs do.
But yeah.
His eyeballs separately in different directions.
All right. What's next?
Oscar Duarte should have been fighting Kenneth Sims, but Sims pulled out, and I think Golden Boy have sort of messed up a little bit here because they got Batter Akhmedov in, who I think is better than Sims, even though he lost to him.
Look,
I thought he won that fight. I thought he won that fight.
I think Akhmedov's going to win this fight.
So do I.
I also picked up.
Because, I mean, look, tell me Akhmedov couldn't be undefeated right now.
I think he beat
should be.
Barrios and Playa, like convinced. The Sims one was closer, but the Barrios one, and especially the Playa one is like actually like disgusting how he didn't get the decision against Playa.
Yeah.
The Barrios one was a little closer because he got dropped twice. But I thought he won. He almost swept like the whole second half of the fight.
Yeah, because with favorable judging, a little bit kind of judging, I mean, he's undefeated.
Or even neutral judging, not even favorable. Yeah.
Because obviously he was like the B side in all of those. Look, if his opponents put on his performance, they would have got the decisions. At least in the Barros and the Guerrero fights.
No doubts about it. The only red flag for me, Akhmedov is over a year inactive now, and his last fight was we weighed in at 145.
Yeah.
That's the only red flag. But like, he's just a better fighter than Duarte. Duarte, like, what's he really done?
He's just
Look,
Knocked
I
out
mean,
Alex Martin
look,
in a
Duarte. I
competitive
mean, he
fight.
can punch. He can punch. That's all he has over
Yeah,
Akhmedov. That's all he has over him. And if he can
I
take the
don't think
belt,
that's good. I think Akhmedov
then
can take the punch.
he should win.
like Duarte's a small fighter from Mexico. Brought in on the Golden Boy card, knocked out Alex Martin, who was having a lot of success in that fight. Got another stoppage win. Did okay against Ryan Garcia, who, was messing about constantly and just spamming hooks until he knocked him out. And then was getting outboxed by Jojo Diaz early on. Like, really badly outboxed by Jojo Diaz early on.
Yeah, I thought he was going to win like a close decision by the end of it.
Yeah.
But then he stopped him. But, he's not really ever been impressive to me. Or I feel like should be to anybody. His style is pretty basic, and his basic is like reckless basic, and it's not good for someone who has the skills of Akhmedov. I think Akhmedov is going to win like a semi-wide decision.
But, you look at Akhmedov, he's a really, really good amateur. Like, really good fundamentals. He's an Olympian. And you look at his level of composition, like, you could be sat here with better Akhmedov as an unbeaten world champion. Like,
Yeah, because he beat WBA champion right now.
like he beat, was Barrios for the regular title?
It had to be.
Yeah, probably. He would have kept that belt. Yeah, he beat Puello for the WBA vacant. Like, and then he beat Sims. Like, for me, that was close, but I thought he won that fight. But like, he's a really, really, really tough fighter. I really think the matchmakers have just got this one wrong.
You got
Like,
it
good
wrong.
for us, because this will
I
be
still, yeah, it would be a war. I still thought Sims would beat Duarte anyway. I really don't think Duarte is that.
yeah.
He's not that good. But it should be fun. But it's not.
It would be a really good fight because, like, Duarte can punch, but I just think Akhmedov's just two seasons, just too good, too experienced. Like, everything's in Akhmedov's favor here. The only thing is the inactivity for Akhmedov and him getting it on late notice. But apart from that, man, everything points to Akhmedov winning this fight.
Well, hopefully, like he would have known that he might be a replacement, so he would have been training anyway. I mean, they usually do,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean they always train.
This is a very, very good fight. But I just think,
Generally, outside of, it's really not a bad card. I mean, I like the card. I mean, I don't like Zepeda versus Farmer. And
that's terrible.
I can live with Ramirez versus Barboza, but the other three fights, they're really good.
Ramirez Barboza makes sense in the sense that, technically speaking, they're both top 10 rated, and sort of for an eliminator, it makes sense. Like, yeah, technically Barboza's unbeaten, and like Ramirez is there. Like, I know Barboza's not good, but apart from that, like, it's a really, really good card. Obviously, Zepeda Farm was terrible, but it is what it is. I really like this card.
Like, and even so, like Zepeda Farmer isn't very good, but if it was like a younger version of Farmer, I mean, it's not a bad fight actually. Even though
2019.
a younger version of Farmer is a super featherweight, but it's not a bad fight. Like a younger version. Just not a 2024 farmer who did retire.
It just leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you're seeing like Zepeda's turned down the chance to fight Shakur. You know, and like he's fighting this instead. Like it gives a little bit extra like that bad taste in your mouth. Like you really don't like it.
Aren't they fighting in February?
They're meant to be, but who knows? Like Shakur's injured, Zepeda. Let's be honest, Zepeda's pulled out his fights before, like, and
it's interesting because like he's like talking about all these guys that are like ducking him and no one's well, I don't know if he's saying it personally, but and like he's rated pretty high and well he was rated pretty high in all the sanctioned bodies. But
he was turning fights down. He was turning for look. You don't get to number one in all 4 sanctioning bodies if you don't turn down fights. That's just a simple reality. He was turning down fights for titles. He turned down the Shakur fight. He's turning down all these fights. Like, you can say you're the boogeyman, all this, and everyone's turning you down, but it's just reality of the fact. Like, you don't think the WBO would have ordered you to go and fight Dennis Berinchuk? You don't think the WBC would have put you forward for the vacant title instead of De Los Santos? WBC did order you to go and fight Shakur, and you said no.
Yeah, like, I mean, especially with him being Mexican and WBC being Mexican, like that definitely.
WBA is a little bit different because it's tank and like whatever, but I mean, man, like you're in these positions, and you know it's just a bit frustrating when it seems like you don't really want to take these fights. Like October the 26th or whatever it was, October the 12th was too soon, but you know you're back a month later fighting Tevin Farmer. It's terrible.
But like, is he still number one with everyone?
No, because
I don't think he's number one with the IBF.
It's because this is for the interim title, so he'll be taking out the others.
Yeah, he will. I think he's still currently number one. I mean, obviously the WBAs will have to wait a bit for that because they update it like at the end of every month, and then he'll get taken out. I think he got taken. Yeah, I think he got taken out of the IBF. I don't know when the others update their rankings. I only know the WBA.
I think the WBO said they'll take him out if he wins it, sort of thing.
That makes sense.
But yeah, but he needs to fight Shakur, man. That fight needs to happen. I really hope it does. I've got a theory of Zepeda as well. I think they're keeping him away from punches. Like he hasn't fought a puncher. Like a lot of these guys have been guys coming up from smaller divisions and also non-punchers like Hughes and people like that.
Yeah, but
Palmer can't really punch.
Volume punching, like non-punchers, like Cabrera, Alvarado.
Yeah, from lower weights as well. But yeah, that's just me. And I think they've picked out. I don't know. I think they've picked out the sort of champion that doesn't punch at all. I don't think Shakur punches at all lightweight. But yeah,
I mean, he could. I mean, it's interesting with him because he doesn't like fight to hurt people. But I think when he sits down his punches, I mean, he has power.
He's never gonna
show. He sat down against Harrisonian and like
and did nothing still.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe not like a knockout wise, but I mean, he has some power.
Not enough.
Just
The Yoshino fight was good, but that was more timing and punching.
yeah, because I mean, like you don't have to have like massive power to hit hard. It's just like speed, timing. Like, because if you're a massive puncher and you hit someone, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to hurt them. But if someone who's a lesser puncher hits you with a punch, you don't see that's going to hurt you a lot more
Yeah.
and maybe knock you out, at least put you down.
Who knows? But yeah. Also this weekend, a cruiserweight fight in Poland. Just keep your eyes on. Mateus Masternak is fighting Floyd Masson. That will have a lot of implications with the cruiserweight rankings because like there's going to be sort of a lot of changes at cruiserweight over the next 18 months. Noel Mikhailian's vacating. Riziki and Yamil Parata, I think, are fighting for the interim or the vacant or whatever. WBC,
It's for
obviously.
the interim that will be upgraded to the
Yeah. The WBA, WBO unify, and they'll get mandatory called straight away. The IBF got a mandatory called with Opataya. Who knows if Opataya is going to stay at cruiserweight? Like, there's a lot of moving parts, and like cruiserweight is about to get quite interesting. I think there are a lot of contenders that are sort of quite good that need to mix it with each other. Like you got Sizzlat there, you got Eves and Garbu, who's got the IBO title. Guys like Chev Clark's okay, not that brilliant, but he's okay. There's a lot of guys in that cruiserweight mix that can beat each other, and there's some really good fights to be made. But like, it's if they're gonna get done, and like, who's gonna weigh out who?
Yeah, and I mean, Dorticus has come back as well.
He's
Number 1 in the IBF, I think.
He's mandatory for the WBA, but like has accepted 2 step asides. Like
Yeah, and
he accepted a step aside for Zurdo against Gunamari, and now Zurdo against Billam-Smith. So
yeah, well, the Masternak Masson fight, I mean, that's good. It can be good, but Masternak does have a habit of really stinking out fights. But Masson is really fun to watch. It could be
Masson
good.
just has 0 defense. Like
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have much defense. I mean, he has been on the list at least once.
I remember the Ngarbu fight. Like Ngarbu was like a 4-1 underdog in that fight, and I was just like, yeah. They obviously didn't watch the Tishenko fight, and like, I won so much money on that fight. But yeah, Masson's quite good to watch. Yeah. And that'll be isn't that on the TVP Sport? I think it's called.
Yeah, TVP Sport
Yeah.
free, no VPN needed.
Yeah, big up the Polish. But yeah, there's not much else this weekend. Probably a couple of small shows that you can find YouTube links for. But yeah, all the links to everything, Twitter's, YouTube's, they're in the description. Yeah, it's been a fun episode. We'll be back next week. There's a couple of shows next week, not too much action, I don't think, unless I'm missing something obvious. Cross, what is next week? What is next week? My mind's gone blank. What is next week?
What's the date next week?
23rd, is that? Box Live. Schedule.
I don't really know. I have no idea.
There might be nothing next week. Let's schedule.
What else something to talk about?
There's there's a Harlem Eubank fight. And that's it. Brandon Evans, the OTX final. The final of the OTX tournament is next week. But yeah, we'll talk about that. And yeah, thanks for listening. We'll be back with a review show, probably Sunday night or Monday. But yeah, been a good episode. Thank you for listening.
See you in episode 19.